This REST API is not a new feature. It's been there for a while. It was last year, October, where we updated the documentation, which is still current. And maybe many of you don't know why this public REST API can be good for you. But let's give a quick summary of this diagram, in which organization user can work with your own software that is not developed by ECA, to update Euclid database. This communication is done via this web protocol using what I will call REST API calls. And yeah, your software will be requesting data or requesting to add or modify data, or even asking Euclid to generate a dossier from a given dataset. So yeah, the user will only be interacting with the software that the organization has developed or procured. And this software will be in the background communicating with an existing server of Euclid and its database, and it will be transparent to the user. There are a lot of ways that external tools can use the Iuclid Public REST API, but I'm going to just give a small set of examples. This is just meant for you to think on what kind of repetitive tasks you do in your day-to-day work that maybe could be supported by an external tool developed by some of your colleagues or an external IT company. One example is that with the REST API, an external tool could look for all the UIDs of datasets that match a given criteria. As an example, you could search for datasets that have not been updated since the 1st of January of 2020. And yeah, the external tool will make the query, and Euclid will return a list of UIDs that then your data external tool can further process. And a way to further process this will be to update a batch of datasets, most likely identified by the UIDs of these datasets, and modify them in one go. One example is that the external tool could inject regulatory flags in relevant documents of the selected datasets. Maybe the selected datasets are the UIDs of the datasets that match the criteria before. As a different example, we can talk about the possibility to create a dossier from a dataset using Euclid API. Your external tool will have the UID of a dataset, and it will request Euclid to generate the dossier for itself, so it can be presented to you, and then you can maybe manually upload or submit this dataset via ReachIT or via ECA submission portal. And if you are using ECA submission portal for submitting SCIP and PCN dossiers, you may also be aware that we provide an API for submitting, what we call the ECA system-to-system submission API. With this API, your external tool could submit the dossier to ECA without having to go through the web interfaces of the submission portal. Okay, so yeah, this is all I wanted to talk about with you today. And well, this is not all the documentation you get for these features. We have been working on updating the documentation we have available in ECA and in Euclid team. And the installation and update instructions for the Euclid 6 server now include a new section on PostgreSQL, on how to install it and set it up, and also how to use the data transfer tool that will be useful to move data from an existing database to PostgreSQL. We have also published the the guide on how to set up single sign-on with Azure Active Directory that you can use as a reference if you are not using Azure Active Directory. We have also have the page on the public REST API and the documentation on what are the interfaces that external tools can use to communicate with a Euclid server. And finally, for those wanting to use the system-to-system submission service and its API, they can go to the web pages of the PCN or SKIP projects.